what he has written about. And he lived through it, and he talks about being in Dr. Kendrick's house. And it
In
just,
the rock oven.
yeah, he hid in the rock oven.
Yeah.
He hid in about 5 places. He was in the rock oven. He started out in the big,
The jail, the old jail.
yeah. But then he kept moving. He kept moving because each place he was, the roof would go over or the water, and then he
At
ended
that
up.
time, the jail had a second story.
Yeah,
It started shaking.
yeah, yeah.
What was the next worst hurricane you think you experienced in your lifetime? Would it have been Betsy or something before Betsy?
Between Betsy and Floyd, they were about the worst.
Could you recall something about Betsy? I mean,
65.
Wind direction, damage done.
It wasn't a lot of damage done in Betsy, some only trees blown down.
Not a tree.
You know, but no buildings were destroyed, nobody got hurt.
And I understand that Betsy was coming this way, then she turned out and did a loop and came back and caught some people by surprise.
Yeah, but by that time,
You had ready to-
everybody was still prepared,
Yeah.
you know,
And how about Floyd in '99?
same thing.
Same as
People knew
Betsy.
it was coming and they made preparations for it.
Betsy brought a lot of water, because I remember that.
Yeah, Betsy brought
We were
water
home and
up,
we had to
up,
go
up,
up
that, up that way.
through the night. We had Daddy took all of us out. We went up, I came by the school or somewhere. I remember that we went up. The wind almost blew me back. And Michael had already called me. Called me in time.
Were you scared, Patricia?
I was scared, yeah. I mean, it's dark.
It happens at
It's
night.
dark. It was at night, yeah. We had to come out of our house.
School was there then?
Oh, school, we went up on the hill.
So you had Betsy in '65, Floyd in '99, and then in '04, we had Francis and Jean.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, they
you
followed
were
each
here
other
for that.
very close.
Both of those, yes.
How many people were here for those? Francis, yeah, a lot of people. August and September, back to back.
Yeah.
And they were, people were prepared.
2 weeks in between. That wasn't
Same
quite
thing
fair.
with Floyd and Dennis. There was 2 weeks in between. Dennis hit first and then Floyd.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Strange the way that's the
Yeah.
the
Yeah, that's
2 week
right.
interval.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be, not Floyd, I mean,
Jean
Gene
also
was
did
supposed to
turn
make
around.
that 360 and go,
Yeah.
and it made it 270 and came right at us.
Thanks to David's research on the underground weather, there's a chart down where their food will be. There just wasn't room to put it up here, but it shows the tracks of all of these hurricanes we're talking about. So you might look at that when you're down there, because they were very, very different, really different. And 32 doesn't seem to have been as bad in other parts of the Bahamas. It was just especially bad here,
Well, Abaco really suffered.
all of Abaco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like it was a very large storm that lingered. If you were, this
Yeah,
really
it-
lasted
it-
probably 2 days if you were in
It stayed, okay. As I remember, it started like in the afternoon and kept on increasing. By sundown, it was worse. I mean, pretty bad. That's about the time when the house where we were blew off the block. And we left just before dark. But by the time we hit the cemetery, it was dark. You couldn't see anything. And like I say, we went on our hands and knees all the way to the other end of the cemetery, over the fence. As a matter of fact, all the movements we made had to be on your hands and knees. Nobody could stand up and walk.
With the rain coming down.
Not even, I mean, with the wind was so strong, you couldn't stand up in it. However, it lasted all that night. The next day was the next morning when they moved us from the hill steps and took us out to the quarry. And we were there all that day, and that next night, then the following day it was calm. It had, left altogether. So, yeah, but let's say 2 days, 2 nights of. Now whether, I don't recall, I don't remember whether it was huge or it slowed down. I don't remember. But it lasted that long, I remember that.
I came back and Floyd, and Debbie came back a couple weeks before I did, and I probably after it was a month, and there was just nothing green. There was just absolutely no green. There are trees that just had main stems. And I don't know, it was probably the same way when you came out there was nothing there except dirt.
After which one?
This was
Well, this is Floyd that I'm talking about.
Yeah, well,
that
after
32.
Floyd, I saw houses on this island that I didn't know were there.
Oh, yeah. But there were no leaves.
I didn't know the houses were there. And I saw after Floyd, when it took the trees down, I saw the houses. Gee, all this time I didn't know there was a house there.
Well, that house was that close.
This house moved 3 feet that direction,
Which one?
right where we are.
This did move?
This moved 3 feet on the foundation, no, 32.
In 32.
It was the
Could
one.
be, I don't remember that, but
Well, this is part of the guided tour here.
but as I said, I could remember what happened with me and mine, but I can't remember what happened everywhere with everybody.
Right.
So that could have happened, and I just don't know.
Well, I think you can see it on the foundation. You have a question?
Well, I just wanted to tell the rest of the people here, we were here for '04,
Oh,
and how the village prepared for the hurricane. It was amazing. I mean, the school up here on the hill was where we went. That was a required place for safety. They had at least 4 generators outside. They had, just ice and food on board. We were served hors d'oeuvres
Comforters
before dinner. And dinner the night of the hurricane. And we were sleeping on the floor, of course. But it was amazing how well the community was prepared.
Yeah,
I just was
how
so...
many people were up there?
55.
55?
Oh, at least that. I would say
I was one of the
yes,
people
she
in
was.
charge of it.
I would guess it would be more than that, but maybe.
So if there were another hurricane, God forbid, say, would you do the same thing? Would you be,
I would always leave my house.
where's your house?
It's right on the sea, to the left of Sundowners.
Oh, yeah.
And we watched, apparently in Hurricane Francis, people filmed 20-foot waves coming over our 2-story house and cresting in our backyard.
Francis?
And in Hurricane Dennis, that's the one that lifted our 8-foot high, 4-foot deep, and 100 feet long seawall right up in the air. And Luke witnessed that, and we'll never stay in the house again during a storm.
But at least there's warning, you know when it's
Yeah.
coming.
But you'll stay on the island. We'll stay on the island because you don't leave, because the faster you can get back to your home and put things to rights, the more you will save. But the longer it stays wet, that's when you get the big damage.
What do you do to prepare, if you have some time to prepare with your house?
There's different stages, it depends on your time. But you'll always shutter, and then if you and bring things in from outside so they're not blowing around and becoming missiles. But the longer you have, you'll trim your trees, you'll gather your water, get your supplies all together, secure things up on blocks. We'll put things up on blocks in our house just in case we have water. And then you prepare, your paperwork and everything, and you go to when you know the storm is close, when you hear that it's like an Eleuthera, it's time to go up to the shelter.
And when it's in Eleuthera? And what do you take with you?
You take
food and clothes.
1 or 2 sets of clothes, something to put on the floor. You bring food so that you can give to everybody, and then you just make one big meal. Bring anything you can to share. And usually we'll pack up enough canned goods and food to eat after the storm. And in like a cooler you'll put matches, and different supplies that you wanna keep dry and safe. We usually take those to the shelter as well.
Sounds like you all know what to do.
Yeah, everybody will get,
And-
nowadays you get well prepared, you see.
Yeah.
And people help each other out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the last hurricane, when we had it, when the Prime Minister then they came over to check everything out, they came to Green Turtle Cay, like the next day, everybody had all cleaned up. They said, oh, Green Turtle Cay people don't need anything.
That's right.
Because they all cleaned up, everybody
That's
got
right,
to
that's
clean it
what
up,
they said.
just like it never been there.
That's right.
That's a statement
So they
about
can
the
be proud
community.
of that.
That's your
Right, we always
community.
get together and clean it up.
Any other questions?
How long does it take for the birds to come back? 'Cause presumably a lot of those.
Next day or
And
two.
that's there too, that's right.
Oh, just a day or two?
Yeah, they right back.
Really?
And the funniest thing was the last one, because I haven't seen butterflies, you know, when you're little girls see a lot of butterflies, right? But after, I think Hurricane Florida, then as the butterflies came out, you wonder where they came from. There were tons of butterflies. Yellow and white butterflies flying all around. That was unreal.
But the animals know where to go for shelter.
Does anybody know
Animals
where they
do
go?
know.
Where did they go?
No.
Who knows, but they all come the next day, they're all safe, feral cats, dogs, whatnot. Now, one thing that we had in our yard was the poor chickens, I guess, didn't know where to go. And we found chickens buried under piles of dead leaves and stuff. They were still alive, but they didn't even have feathers on. That was after Hurricane Florida.
Chickens
There
mentality.
was no leaves on the trees and there was no feathers on the chickens.
Ready for cooking.
Well, I think we've done well with the subject.
Thank you.
We're all warm.
Thank you very much.
Before we close off, I would really like to thank volunteers who have helped with these programs and who help here at the Roland Roberts House. And at the risk of leaving somebody out, I'm going to name names. David and Joe Goldstein, Jackie Patrick, Tom and Jan Roberts. Tom's up there with the camera. Kath and Andy Dixon have left, but they contributed quite a bit. Patty here has brought us some cookies tonight. Elizabeth brought some cookies. Did he make them?
No.
You made them?
Sally.
No, I'm saving her for last. Tony Histick and Vane has helped here. Deb and Russ have turned in and done a few things. And everybody has just really been so good. But the prize of all is Sally Yancey. And I know she probably can't hear us too well here, but I think we should give her a big round. So if we don't have any more questions or comments to make, I do thank you, George, so much. It's really nice.